The moment they fully understand you, the game is over. Not because they respect you, not because they fear you, but because they can control you. If someone can predict your reactions, they can trigger them. If they know what hurts you, they can press it. If they understand what you want, they can dangle it. Most people think manipulation is obvious: lies, tricks, deception. It's not. Manipulation is pattern recognition, and Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew that the ruler who reveals too much loses influence, while the one who remains unreadable always holds the upper hand. In this video, you're going to discover the hidden moves that most people never notice, the subtle shifts that decide who controls the interaction, who pulls the strings, and who is completely untouchable. By the end, you'll see why some people collapse under pressure while others make silence feel like authority. You'll uncover the invisible ways leverage is gained, the moves that create tension without conflict, and the secret to making yourself unreadable so no one can manipulate you again. If you want to step out of their control and command respect without raising your voice, subscribe now. Not for entertainment, but so you never miss a lesson that could change the way people interact with you forever. Now watch carefully, because the moment they stop understanding you is the moment they stop controlling you. Visibility is weakness. The moment people understand you, the game changes. Not because they hate you, not because they oppose you, but because they can now predict you, and predictability is weakness. Most people believe being open makes them powerful. They think transparency builds trust. They share their plans, their frustrations, their next moves. They explain themselves constantly. They believe clarity earns respect. It doesn't. It gives others a map. Machiavelli understood something uncomfortable. Once people can read you, they can position themselves around you. If they know your triggers, they press them. If they know your ambitions, they compete with them. If they know your fears, they use them. Visibility feels safe, but it creates vulnerability. Watch how this plays out in real life. You tell people your long-term goal. Suddenly, advice turns into quiet comparison. You share your struggles. Later, those same details resurface in moments of tension. You reveal your standards. People begin testing them. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious. Just subtle shifts. When people understand your patterns, they adapt. If you always forgive, they push further. If you always explain, they demand more. If you always react emotionally, they provoke. The game doesn't end loudly. It ends quietly, through adjustment. And here's the deeper problem. The more you reveal, the more people categorize you. Once labeled, you become manageable. He's emotional. She's ambitious. He won't leave. She always comes back. Labels simplify you. And simple people are easy to handle. Power, on the other hand, lives in uncertainty. Think about the individuals who quietly command respect. They don't overshare. They don't narrate every move. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they'll tolerate. You don't know their full capacity. That uncertainty creates tension, and tension creates caution. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must avoid being easily understood. Not because secrecy is glamorous, but because familiarity erodes authority. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to control. Most people lose the game before it even begins. They announce their strategy, they expose their emotions, they broadcast their intentions. Then they wonder why others maneuver around them. Here's the shift. Stop explaining everything. Stop revealing every plan. Stop reacting in expected ways. Silence doesn't mean weakness, it means discipline. Mystery doesn't mean deception, it means protection. When people can't fully read you, they hesitate. When they hesitate, you gain space, and space is power. But this is only the beginning. Because visibility isn't just about what you say, it's about patterns. And predictable patterns are even more dangerous than open words. In the next chapter, we'll break down why predictable people always lose and how to step outside the rhythm others rely on. Predictability is surrender. The moment someone understands your pattern, they stop reacting to you and start managing you. Most people don't lose power in dramatic confrontations. They lose it through repetition. You answer messages instantly. You forgive too quickly. You react emotionally when criticized. You explain yourself when challenged. At first, these behaviors feel honest, consistent, even virtuous. But consistency without control becomes a script. And once people memorize your script, the tension disappears. Think about it carefully. If someone knows you will always calm down after an argument, they push harder. If they know you never walk away, they test boundaries further. If they know you crave approval, they withhold it strategically. You think you're being stable. They see you as predictable. Machiavelli understood something most people ignore. Power lives in uncertainty. A ruler who behaves the same way every time becomes easy to provoke, easy to trap, easy to corner. Predictability removes mystery. And when mystery disappears, fear disappears. When fear disappears, leverage disappears. Look at powerful individuals in any arena: politics, business, leadership. The most commanding figures are not chaotic, but they are unreadable. You never fully know how far they'll go. You never fully know what they'll tolerate. You never fully know their next move. That uncertainty forces caution. Predictable people don't inspire caution. They inspire calculation. And calculation is dangerous because now the other person is planning around you. Here's the shift. Stop responding instantly. Stop revealing your emotional threshold. Stop showing your full hand. Pause longer than expected. Say less than necessary. Change your timing. This doesn't mean becoming dishonest. It means becoming disciplined. When your reactions are no longer automatic, people hesitate. When they hesitate, you regain control of the rhythm. And whoever controls the rhythm controls the interaction. But here's the deeper truth most never realize. Predictability isn't just about behavior, it's about exposure. Because even if your actions are controlled, if your intentions are visible, if your thoughts are transparent, the game still tilts against you. In the next chapter, we go deeper into the invisible currency that decides every power dynamic: information. Information is leverage. If predictability is surrender, information is control. Most people speak too soon. They reveal opinions before understanding the room. They share plans before assessing competition. They expose emotions before identifying intentions. And every time they do, they give away leverage. Machiavelli understood that power rarely belongs to the loudest voice. It belongs to the one who knows more than they reveal. Information is not just knowledge, it is positioning. It allows you to act from advantage while others move from assumption. Watch any negotiation carefully. The person asking the most questions is usually stronger than the one giving the most answers. Why? Because answers expose structure. Questions gather it. When people talk, they reveal fears, desires, insecurities, ambitions. They show what motivates them and what destabilizes them. They disclose what they value and what they cannot afford to lose. And once you know what someone cannot afford to lose, you understand where they are vulnerable. But here's the mistake most people make. They think information is about secrets. It isn't. It's about patterns. Who gets defensive when challenged? Who seeks approval before acting? Who overcommits under pressure? Who craves recognition? These are forms of information far more valuable than gossip. They tell you how a person will move when tension rises. And tension always rises. The one who observes quietly gains advantage without confrontation. They don't need to dominate loudly. They simply wait until the right moment, then act precisely. Meanwhile, the person who overshares becomes transparent. If others know your next move, your emotional threshold, your ambition, your fears, they can calculate around you. They don't need to attack directly. They simply adjust their strategy, knowing your structure. That is leverage used against you. Powerful people reverse this dynamic. They reveal selectively. They ask more than they answer. They let others underestimate them. Silence becomes a filter. Observation becomes a weapon. Timing becomes everything. When you hold information, you hold options. When others hold your information, they hold leverage. But there is something even more powerful than knowledge itself. Because knowing is one thing. Projecting strength without exposing knowledge that creates pressure. And pressure changes behavior. In the next chapter, we explore how subtle tension, not aggression, creates quiet fear and reshapes the power dynamic without a single word of explanation. Before we move further, if you're getting value from this, tap like and subscribe. It tells me you need more videos like this. Controlled tension. Power rarely announces itself. It is felt. There's a moment in every interaction where the energy shifts, where one person becomes slightly uncertain, slightly cautious. That subtle discomfort is not aggression, it is tension. And tension, when controlled, is authority. Most people avoid tension. They rush to explain. They soften their tone. They laugh off disrespect. They fill silence to prevent awkwardness. And in doing so, they dissolve their leverage. Machiavelli understood that leadership is not about constant reassurance. It is about measured presence. When others are unsure of your reaction, unsure of your limits, unsure of how far they can push, they adjust themselves. That adjustment is power. Controlled tension begins with restraint. You don't respond immediately to provocation. You don't clarify every misunderstanding. You don't rush to smooth every conflict. Instead, you pause. That pause creates psychological space, and in that space, the other person begins calculating. Did they go too far? Are you offended? Will there be consequences? Notice what's happening. They are thinking about you. When you over-explain, you remove tension. When you overreact, you lose composure. But when you remain steady and slightly unreadable, you create pressure without speaking. Silence, eye contact, measured tone, these are subtle tools. They signal confidence without noise, and people instinctively respect what feels stable and controlled. This does not mean becoming cold or hostile. It means mastering emotional economy. You express only what is necessary. You reveal only what strengthens your position. Tension also works in ambition. If you announce every goal, people track you. If you reveal every plan, people anticipate you. But if you move quietly and let results appear unexpectedly, you disrupt expectation. And disruption creates psychological imbalance, not chaos, But caution. When someone cannot fully read you, they hesitate before crossing you. That hesitation is authority forming. The key is balance. Too much tension becomes intimidation. Too little becomes invisibility. The art lies in maintaining calm strength, enough mystery to command respect, enough stability to avoid fear. Powerful individuals are not loud. They are composed. They do not chase validation. They allow others to feel the weight of their presence. And once people begin adjusting their behavior around you, once they start thinking twice before speaking, testing less, pushing less, the dynamic has already shifted. But tension alone is not the final stage. Because true power is not just about being unreadable. It's about transforming your entire presence so completely that understanding you becomes impossible. Become unreadable. There is a moment in every power dynamic when the game changes. It's not when you speak louder. It's not when you win an argument. It's not when you prove someone wrong. It's when they realize they can no longer predict you. At that moment, their strategy collapses. Up until now, we've stripped away the layers: predictability, oversharing, emotional reactivity. We've built restraint. We've introduced tension. We've shifted the rhythm. Now comes the transformation. Becoming unreadable is not about deception. It's about control. Most people live externally. Their face shows their frustration. Their tone reveals insecurity. Their pace exposes anxiety. Anyone watching closely can map them within weeks. But when your emotions stop leaking, when your ambitions stop broadcasting, when your reactions stop confirming expectations, you become difficult to position against. And positioning is everything. If someone knows you crave validation, they withhold it. If they know you fear conflict, they escalate it. If they know you want approval, they manipulate it. But when they cannot locate your pressure points, they hesitate. And hesitation creates space. Space gives you options. Unreadable people don't rush decisions. They don't over-explain motives. They don't seek constant reassurance. They observe longer than others expect. They respond slower than others predict. They reveal only what serves the moment. Their calm feels deliberate. And deliberate calm creates psychological weight. There's a subtle shift that happens when you reach this level. People stop trying to control you because they no longer know how. They start choosing their words more carefully. They test less. They assume less. Not because you threatened them, but because uncertainty demands caution. And caution is respect's older brother. This is the final stage. Your presence alone begins shaping behavior. You don't need to argue for authority. You don't need to defend your boundaries repeatedly. Your consistency in restraint becomes the signal. You are no longer reacting inside their frame. They are reacting inside yours. And that is the quiet end of manipulation. Because once someone realizes they cannot read your next move, cannot provoke your emotions, cannot predict your limits, the game dissolves. Not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. And the moment they understand that you are no longer understandable is the moment they lose control. You've seen the truth few ever notice. The moment someone understands your patterns, they gain control over you. But now, you know better. You've learned how predictability weakens authority. You've seen how silence and controlled tension shift power. You've discovered how information becomes leverage. And most importantly, you've learned how to become psychologically unreadable. From this moment on, the game changes. People can no longer manipulate you with the same ease. Their attempts to predict, provoke, or control will fall flat. Your reactions, your presence, your attention all become your tools, not theirs. This is not just strategy. This is transformation. If you found this lesson valuable, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Every new video will give you the mental tools to stay steps ahead, to operate quietly, decisively, and untouchably. And don't just watch. Comment below with the words, "I am unreadable." Show the world and yourself that you've stepped into a new level of control. Remember, the moment they stop understanding you is the moment they stop controlling you. Your game starts now. If you haven't watched my previous video, Powerful People Never Rescue These 6 Types Machiavelli's Lesson, you're missing the foundation that make this video more effective. Think of this video as strategy. That one is your armor. You'll find it linked below and on the end screen.